welcome to another fantastic episode, number 157 for Schnozzcast. This is Bob. I'm joined by my phenomenal co-hosts, Nick Bader, Cory Selesky, Todd Dillon, and special guest Greg Gumtow. We have a lot of shit to get through tonight. Booze news. We're going to air a few grievances, do a little lightning round, gentleman's agreement, pick of the week, and we might actually give a shot to this bad people game that we tried to start a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I think it was last week. It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Gentlemen.
It all just came screaming back to me.
Yeah.
Last
Gentlemen,
week today.
how are you? How's everybody?
Delightful.
Oh, hey. Beat you to it.
Mighty.
Fantastic. Greg Gumtow,
Yes.
good to see you again, my friend.
Welcome back.
Your dreams, will you take it out?
I know the show. I don't know the
no one
words.
else joining me? All right, that's your homework
Cotter.
assignment. That's our homework assignment for next week, Todd. You must learn the lyrics to Welcome Back, Cotter.
I know
Because next
Sweat
week-
Hogs, right?
Yes, exactly.
Cory was a show in the 70s.
Next week, we
I've
will
heard
have
of
another return guest, Mr. James Krabby Pappas.
So he says.
So we're going to have, yeah, that's true. It is a touch and go situation with Krabby, but if he's here, then we're going to bust out that song again, Todd. And I want you ready.
Got it.
Greg,
Yes.
I feel like you're trying to make a run for the most podcast visits, the most frequent guest.
I thought he was going to make a run for the border based on that glance.
You've been here quite a while, and we love it when you come, but I feel like you're trying to unseat the...
I don't want to know what the record is because then I'm going to try to beat it. So
it's like 26 or 27, something like that.
Who's at 26 or 27?
Joe Guido.
No.
He hasn't been on that many times.
Dude, I made a table. At the 100th episode, he'd been on 25 times.
You've never made me a table.
I did. I put in OneNote. It's for all of us.
Oh, got
Maybe
it.
if you ever went to OneNote. So, yeah. But at the time, Greg only had one. And since, I think he's been like here every episode since episode 100.
So has he dethroned Joe Guido?
I don't think so, but he's
sticks
making
like
a
a
run.
frog in my throat just thinking about saying that Joe has been here the most of any guest.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but have you counted all the times he's walked out? Did you count those? Did you
If
count
he-
those?
if he-
full episodes?
Those are halves.
If he was ever in the room to start the show and
Okay.
actually introduce himself, even if he walked out 5 minutes later, yeah, I would count that. And by the way, I would count
Yeah,
it because
that's a guest appearance.
it's a guest appearance because that means he was in the description for the show. And if he was only here for 5 minutes, I would not put his fucking name in the description. I'd be too mad.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. But just like Joe, like Greg is possibly approaching that number, I made some notes in one
Oh,
note
boy.
for, yeah.
Well, he knows that as soon as Cory starts to have all the inevitable babies that he's going to have,
Yeah.
that there's going to be an opening.
That is true. I see what you're doing.
There will not be an opening. I was rinsing my mouth out.
Why do you think I said it right then and there?
Yeah, so gentlemen, take a look at the notes whenever you get a chance. It'll remind you to put Greg in his place.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the notes. Take Greg down a peg. Greg, look, angling for record.
Take Greg down.
Low
Bring
key
him down
trying
to
to.
Todd
Break
took,
his spirit.
Todd took out Danielle, but she was an easy target because she didn't want to be here anyhow. So, Cory wants to be here, so he's going to claw his way back in, so you got to be very careful.
Back in. I haven't been out, motherfucker.
Yet.
I think if there was a fun board of the podcast faces that was all up on the wall, yours would have like a little stopwatch next to it that was ticking down to when you
We actually do have a
I
fun
was gonna
board,
say,
but it kept falling.
it's gone. Yeah, that was.
It's right on the floor right
I
there.
think I spent like $12 buying that board, and I think I saw it for like 3 weeks, and then it
No,
fell down, and I've never seen it again.
No, it went up a million times, but
Did it?
you guys started getting really mad because I had like 6 stars for making Danielle laugh.
Yeah, he'd always
Oh,
get the
yeah.
fucking star. No one else would.
And you go, yeah, all right, is this even a game anymore?
Yeah, I'm willing to throw that $12 away. Just take that board, throw it in the trash.
Spent $12 on worse, I'm sure.
We'll find another reason to use it.
Will we?
We will.
All right, so let's get into housekeeping, I guess. If you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. We're here every week at this time with recorded episodes dropping on the following Friday. So if you're following us out on social media, on the streaming services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Pandora, Amazon Music, or anywhere else where you can get them, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe so that when new episodes drop, you'll get a notification. Out on social media, you can follow us at Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube at Schnozzcast, with new video episodes dropping on Fridays as well. If you want to email us, you can get us at schnozzcast@gmail.com, or you can call or text us at 618-SHOCKER.
The Shocker line open and ready for your calls.
Yeah. So since we're probably not going to get any calls unless they come to you in the middle of the night from people in Guam who've decided to play a gag on the
Myanmar,
Schnozzcast.
I think, is where we get a lot of
Always be Guam to me.
No, Burma.
That's right. That's what I said. But yeah, you can definitely still text us upon hearing the episodes once they drop on Fridays, and let us know what you think. Gentlemen,
We're forcing the hand of the listeners.
I feel like we've been doing that for a while, but
Yeah.
no one's ever taken the bait. Well, I have a
We've got
question.
a
couple from Scotty Moore. Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
when are we going to start marketing our next live show though? I mean, when are we going to start marketing that? When are we going to drop that on them?
When we're away from the last live show we did, that's more than 2 weeks.
I think we talked about doing one a quarter. So sometime
Gotcha.
between now and end of March, we got to schedule it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to work on that.
Okay.
All right, then.
We know one of the live shows is going to be on the beach because we love those waves.
That actually didn't work out too bad.
No, I don't think so either.
It didn't sound like that.
It was great. That surprisingly took painstakingly long to set up.
Well, there's a
Well,
lot
yeah.
of drinking going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're on a beach.
yeah, plus we had a crowd. We had to deal with the crowd going, what's going on over here?
You guys setting up a band? You
Yeah.
guys getting ready to play on the beach?
Where are your guitars?
You've never
I
seen
don't see any amps.
You've never seen people more disappointed.
We did do a very good job disappointing them.
Oh, everyone, every
Yeah.
single there's the brave souls. You know, the onlookers. A lot of them, just the looky-loos, just were kind of like, huh. But we had a few liquid couragers that walked up, you know, flat-footed with their fat feet, and they're like, "So what's you guys doing? What are you guys doing?"
I don't remember anyone coming up with that
Yeah, it was
accent.
some lady.
Feet.
I come all the way from Queens.
She was heavy footing across the flat lawn. Yeah,
The 4 Fs.
into the sand.
Flat-footed on the flat lawn with her fat feet.
She was. Or she came over. and-
Fucking Ethel with her
was
one
like,
tit bigger than the other.
I see we haven't really been taking care of our feet there, Karen. I remember once she figured out like what we were doing, we're like, yeah, we're a podcast. We're not. Oh, well, you look like you're playing instruments. No, we're not playing any instruments. Well, so we're doing a podcast, and it's gonna be like, oh, that was like the end of it.
As we were setting up nothing to do with instruments.
It was so disappointing,
I almost
Greg.
spit beer on
mostly
my laptop.
mostly because it was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Like, of all the days that we had there, it might have been the best day that we had. Sun was shining. It was gorgeous. Temperature perfect. Waves lapping in. They could have been anywhere around us, even out of earshot on the beach, but they all decided, like, no, going back to my room.
Well, yeah, I mean, people were in the courtyard, so of course you're facing the water. And we, like idiots, are setting up thousands of dollars worth of equipment on the only beachfront there, facing the opposite direction from the water. So it looked like we were setting a stage. Not to mention, I was wearing a cowboy hat. So they were just waiting for,
Made out of
ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Morgan.
Bud Light boxes.
Like, yeah. Because I remember she did say,
Tracy Morgan?
she's like,
That was a weird reference to drop, yeah, but
For country music, yes.
Trace Adkins?
Oh, it's a stand-up show.
there's Trace Adkins, there's Craig Morgan, there's a lot of different, it's just a
You
mixture.
made up
between
that Craig Morgan.
No, Craig Morgan's a big country artist.
All right, I'll
Look him
have
up.
to take your word for
Look
it.
him up.
I refuse to look him up. Let's
Google
just say
him.
you're right.
Google them.
He is. Oh, there's Tracy Lawrence.
Tracy Lawrence. You mean
Yeah.
Joey Lawrence?
No.
I'd never heard of Tracy Lawrence in my
Neither
life.
have I.
Tracy Lawrence. Well, because he's a country
See,
singer.
now he's just making up names.
Look
Because he
it up.
knows that I will never look them up, so I have to
Look
assume
it
he's
up.
right.
Something crazy like Keith Urban.
Urban.
Now that's
not a
fake.
name.
There's no way that's real.
All right, let's go to some booze news, Cory.
And now it's time for booze news.
Mr. Todd Dillon, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes, sir. So a few weeks back, I was talking about the invention where you soak your testicles in a warm bath as a birth control means of birth control. And
That was a great day on the show. I remember that.
Yes. Well, I have a new news story. The news story starts: Great balls of fire.
Hey, Todd.
Heating up. Yep.
You leave your new off this podcast, okay?
How heating up testicles with nanoparticles might one day be a form of male birth control. So I'll cut to the chase. Nano contraception is based on the idea of nanoparticles. So basically, they're about 100 nanometers in diameter, or roughly one thousandth the width of a piece of paper. Ooh, that's pretty small. Or a strand of human hair. and can
you for
sometimes
Somebody wanted to know.
Robin Williams knew about it.
Yeah, exactly. And can somehow be delivered to the testicles where they can be warmed. If you could warm up the testicles just a bit, you have a way to turn sperm production on and off at will, because the warmer they get, the less fertile they become. But it's a delicate process because the testicles can be irreversibly destroyed if they become too warm. The tissue dies and can no longer produce sperm,
Hold on.
Yeah.
A side effect is that your testicles could be irreversibly destroyed?
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
Now I'm going to fast forward, because here's where it gets mean. You know those people who are mad because you're.
Destroying your
balls
testicles
are
wasn't
done,
mean enough.
but that's
Oh no!
Wow.
I'm going to take it to a whole nother level.
Okay.
A whole nother level. So you know how people are mad if you rub makeup in the eyes of monkeys and mice, because when we're testing them to see if it's going to sting human eyes?
I mean, I've seen it 1,000 times. It's
Yeah.
a horrible sight. I always
Yes. Oh yeah.
I get a little choked up.
So, in July of 2021, Sun Teams published a paper on its latest findings. The nanorods in the new method are composed of magnetic iron oxide instead of gold, and they are coated with citric acid instead of ethylene glycol. But they have the same size and shape as earlier nanorods. So first, the magnetic particles are injected into mice's veins, and then the animals were euthanized. A magnet was then placed near their testicles for 4 hours, drawing the nanoparticles there. This procedure injection, followed by magnetic targeting, was done daily for 1 to 4 days. After the last day of the treatment, an electric coil was wrapped around the testicles, through which current was passed. This introduced a magnetic field that heated up the nanorods and therefore the testicles. Similar temperatures increased from a baseline of 29 C to 37 to 42 C were observed through this method. The more days the mouse had been injected with nanorods, the hotter its testicles became. Hotter testicles led to atrophy and shrinkage, but they showed gradual recovery over 30-60 days after the treatment, as long as the testicle temperatures were kept below 45 C. So these guys are freaking nuking mice's nuts for 4 days in a row to figure out if warming your nuts up will help you make babies.
And did I hear ethylene glycol was involved?
That was replaced by citric acid.
Yeah.
The original test said ethylene glycol.
Yeah, that's good, because people used to be, if you've ever watched like Investigation Discovery, people used to get poisoned all the time with antifreeze. And
Yeah, that's the sweetness.
And it was it never used to have a flavor, so they made it taste very disgusting, so people would notice when it's in their food. But the poisoning from that was ethylene glycol poisoning. And when you get ethylene glycol poisoning, it basically crystallizes either the cells or your blood or your muscles or something. So it's an absolutely like horrible, horrible death. So that's good they replaced that.
Yeah, with citric acid. Yeah.
I just have one
But
question.
they're nuking mice nuts, dude.
I have one question. Nick Bader,
Yes.
how did you make it all the way through that Booze News article and you couldn't make it through two minutes of reading the rules for the card game last week?
Because I find it interesting.
It was a clunky ride, though.
I also think we knew where the
Fair enough.
where the card game was going, and that it wasn't going to be that simple to just figure out on the spot. With that, there's nothing Todd's already got it figured out. He's reading. He's got an article.
Yeah, I've told you, and I've told you guys like a few
I'm
times.
just saying. I'm sorry, buddy.
If you recall from when we went up north for the boys' weekend, when I'm like in a frame of mind where I just want to like drink or hang out, I don't want to learn a new game. Like I don't want to sit down and like, okay, so let's read through the direction. Like I don't want to learn something. Like I don't want to learn something, but I don't want to be taught something new like that. And this is just kind of an article that was just interesting. And that was like, you really have to pay attention so you know what the fuck you're doing, you know? Same thing with up north. You guys got all bent out of shape when I refused to learn euchre.
I was fine with it. I didn't care.
Oh, he was not fine.
It takes like 1 second to learn euchre.
You just have to be drunk.
Well, you and I both
It's a
know
Michigan
that,
rule.
Todd, but he was like, nope, not interested.
But it wasn't like
He would not be swayed.
Todd, it wasn't like offering it to me. It became like he was going to offer it, and then it was, if you don't do this, you're going to ruin our weekend. And it like really turned into that.
To
and
be fair,
he's like, well, I'm glad I brought this up because it takes 4 people to play, and now I said,
to be fair, there were only 4 of us there, and 3 of us were already sitting down, like ready to play.
I said, then
we needed him.
I go,
otherwise you
to be
can't play.
fair,
he goes,
with 3.
play. He goes, well, now we don't have a 4th person. I said, we'll just play with 3. You can't, okay? You can't. So I guess we're not doing that. Glad I brought this. I'm like, you're welcome for coming to my
Was that me
cabin.
who said that, or was that me or Joe?
Yo, it was you.
Was
You
me?
were mad. Yeah.
Okay.
You got over it relatively quickly, and it was before we started
good.
drinking.
Oh, good.
But you were just really mad that you're like, come on. I'm like, no, I don't.
My brain could not process that you wouldn't just give it a. Thankfully, I got over it quickly.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then I got like finger wagged because I was Michigan shamed. You are from Michigan and you don't want to learn euchre.
That is true.
And I'm like,
That is
okay,
true.
that doesn't work on me. I don't care.
Like math.
Yeah.
Well, you can't blame a girl for trying.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't work on you doesn't mean I'm not going to try.
Yeah.
All right, Todd. Sorry to derail your hot mouse nuts.
No,
story.
I can't believe that more people aren't up in arms about frickin' nuking mice nuts.
I mean, we feed mice to snakes.
Yeah, I mean, I
At school, we had
I
one.
think they're one of those species that we don't mind.
Everybody crowded around, watched the snake get fed.
Again, that's still this is sanctioned torture.
Well, what if the snake is like eating the nuts first? I mean, that would be torturous, wouldn't it?
If only that was how it works.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, you got a story?
I do, but I have something else I'm going to show on it. I can say the booze news for next week.
Oh, okay.
If Cory, he's had it on the screen the entire time. Up until,
Just taking it off?
until this point, he took it down.
Doing it now?
That's too long.
So
I'm taking this
Yeah, we
off.
can move on and come back to it if you want. All right. Yeah. So until you're putting up the next one, so are other people able to? Oh, that's Dr. Flores.
All your chiropractic needs.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone again.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. On
Are
the
we-
screen the whole time.
Are we talking about the picture? Or
We're well. Okay.
all right.
Cory, stay. Leave it. Good. Good boy.
Oh, you hit the back button.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is pretty interesting. So this is the Supertramp album cover that was released in 1979. The album, I don't know what.
It's Breakfast in America.
Okay, Breakfast in America is the album. So if you can't see it, I find it's super interesting because it's like a waitress in a diner. She's holding up a tray with a backdrop of New York City. It says Supertramp at the top, and she's holding a menu, and there's like a beer or something on top of the tray, and on the menu it says Breakfast in America. No big deal.
I'm going to say it's orange juice.
That's
Yeah, maybe it's orange juice. Maybe it's a screwdriver.
Sure.
But I thought it was super cool. I didn't want to use super like that. I thought it was
That's
cool.
it. The whole story. Forget it. Take the picture down.
So the interesting part about this album that came out in 1979 is that there's a lot of correlations with 9/11 on this album. So one, you're looking out at New York City with the Twin Towers in the background. You're looking out at New York City from a plane. breakfast time is the time of day when 9/11 happened. You can see there's a little plane on the menu. And, Cory, if you switch to the second picture.
Yep, you're going to give me 1 second for that.
Yep. I was just fixing myself a cocktail. So if you switch to the second picture is basically just the album cover mirrored. And then I'll show you what I mean. So if you look at Supertramp mirrored, it says 9/11 right over each tower.
Oh, so is your assertion here that Supertramp is responsible for 9/11?
Or there's some, it's like the Simpsons things, you know, how the Simpsons predicted the future in like a lot of their episodes. I just think it's very coincidental that it's literally 9/11 right over not off to the left, right over each tower. And you're looking out of a plane. It's breakfast time. There's a plane on the menu. I thought that was interesting. So it was something that I saw on, I don't know if it was another radio show or podcast, but I was like, that's really crazy. Isn't that interesting?
Quite the coincidence.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever looked at this album cover because I never owned the album. And Joe loves Supertramp, and therefore I tend to shy away from Supertramp. But looking at the album cover, so are the buildings supposed to be like salt shakers? And
That's what it looks like.
That's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, like breakfast, like in a diner kind of thing. Because you got the breakfast plate right there.
Yeah.
And then all the different.
So
I don't know if it's an age thing. I'm not seeing any of the shit that you pointed out.
So if Cory were to,
could you start over from the beginning?
Yeah.
No, I'm just staring. I don't see it. It might be like the Kramer photo.
So right there is a 9,
You see my cursor, Todd?
Yeah.
and then there's 1/1 next to it.
Okay.
So that's 9/11. You can see the window frame around that's looking out from a plane.
Yeah.
And she's supposed to be obviously the Statue of Liberty.
She's supposed to be the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
And on the menu there's a little airplane like on.
There is?
Yeah, on the menu.
Right at
I don't see that.
Yeah, it's right at the end. See it flying to the left, Cory, to the left.
Oh, gotcha. Coming off
Yep.
of the word breakfast.
Yep.
I see.
Where?
Right there.
The word breakfast is kind of in cursive.
Oh.
And there's
okay.
a line that comes in. I guess there's a plane on the end of
Yep.
it.
Got
Show
you.
the
Okay.
flight.
Okay.
I mean,
well, actually, the only very interesting. I'm curious to know how many albums, ad campaigns, whatever, leverage that view of New York City. Though, how famous is that shot?
I think that shot's probably fairly famous for for New York. The Twin Towers certainly were. They were been in a lot of photographs and movies and TV shows. I don't know.
But I don't know if you guys remember on 9/11. I remember
it's really crazy.
I was going to college, and it was very early in the morning.
I was sleeping. It was like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.,
Yeah.
8 a.m. I think.
Well, I was gonna say I thought it was a little bit later because I was.
And it was a bright
the
sunny
first
day
plane
like
hit.
depicted in the picture.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I was on my way into EMC, Bob. They pulled the TVs out in the office. I remember that day.
I was in the hospital. My son had been born. Jack had been born the day before.
Wow, shit.
And yeah, I left to go home. I may have told this on the podcast before, but I can't remember. I left to go home to let the dog out and take a shower while Christy and Jack were at the hospital and grab a few things. And so I missed like the 8th through the first plane and all that kind of stuff. I drove back, parked, walked into the hospital, took the elevator up to the floor. And as I was walking past, I noticed that there were a bunch of people gathered around the television, but it didn't occur to me I had other things to think about. So I just walked right past them. And I walked in the room. And she's like, "Have you seen this?" And that was right when the second plane hit.
Well, I was
We
gonna
got
say,
the fuck out of there immediately.
yeah, I remember that like nobody's. They didn't know that it was actually an attack. The first plane had hit when I started hearing about it.
Yeah.
And they were still wondering if it was just. If I thought the news coverage was still so early, I thought that like if somebody in a 2-seater plane got off course trying to get a good picture and crashed into the tower. It was at that point not a big, and then as I got closer to the office, it was worse and worse. When I got into the office, people were pulling out radios and televisions and the like.
I was sleeping.
I remember the most. I was sitting right next to the TV because I got up to go to college and classes were canceled. My dad called. He's like, "Turn the TV on," and so I was watching it from start to finish. But The most horrifying thing I remember was when the first one collapsed, because I don't think any of us were expecting that. And I was like, holy shit, because everyone just thought like, oh God, well, there's going to be some casualty, but it looks like they're probably getting everybody out. You saw the fire department really getting everyone out and everything like that. And then when that happened, and then the second, it was like, I didn't expect a building of that large to just absolutely crumble immediately.
I was still at Dearborn High, and we had a half day. A scheduled half day that day. It was whether this would happen or not. And we had left, and me and two of my buddies were cutting through the back of Dearborn High. There was a bunch of woods you could go through to get out to Military, a different road to where we were going to walk to get lunch. And as I remember, we were walking through those woods, and we're like, man, something's really, really weird. And living in Dearborn, we're right underneath a flight path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't occur to you until you're elsewhere. Because while you're living there, it just kind of, after so long, you get so used to it. But when it stops, then you realize it's gone. So we're walking through the woods. We're like, what's really weird right now? We couldn't put our finger on it. And actually, when we got out of the woods to Military, my buddy Gabe, his mom pulled up in her minivan, just like by happenstance, happened to be driving down the road and saw us coming out of the wood line. And she's like, boys, get in. Like, everyone's going home. And we're like, oh, what's going on? So we had no clue at this point.
Yeah.
And she told us about what was happening in New York, and we're like, oh. And then she's like, yeah, all the flights are canceled. And we're like, that's what was weird. We couldn't hear a single plane flying over.
Had she heard that, or did she think you guys were playing grab ass in the woods?
Probably thought we were sucking each other off, but it really went to, even at that point, it wasn't.
Come on, Cory, again.
It was made worse by the fact that Cory asked for a rag as soon as he got it.
Yeah.
Did you have any mouthwash?
What's that on your lip?
At the time, I didn't have a beard, so it wiped it right off.
I said, we are nowhere near a Cinnabon.
And that's how you make a 911 story.
But the craziest part was when I got home, and my dad was commander at the time, so very high up in the department, would never be doing anything crazy on the street. He roared up in the driveway in a fully marked scout car, which was completely undercover car. There was no markings on it, whatever. So clearly it wasn't his car. It was a car he grabbed from the motor pool. And he got out, and he had a full tack vest on with an M4 slung around his chest that my dad didn't even know how to use an M4. So
Seriously?
He might have had a little bit of an idea, but not like the guys do now.
Right.
And seeing that, him running up the driveway, I was like, oh, man, this is really not good. So that's when it really kind of fully hit the circumstances that were occurring.
Yeah.
I had just graduated college the Friday before, and I was still living at home. And I remember waking up because my dad was like, a plane hit the tower, and I rolled over in bed. I was like, huh? Okay. Went back to sleep. I knew something was up because I was driving to bowling that day, and Drew and Mike were still on. Yeah. It's like 4 o'clock.
4 in the afternoon?
It's 4:30. I'm like, and they're still on like.
So you didn't really, it didn't hit you until 4 p.m.?
I slept till 3. I was up playing video games until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
I heard about it at 9:12.
And
Greg's like, man, the silence with those planes out of the sky made for some good rest.
I was living in South Lyon. There's no planes that fly over.
Got to bowling real quick.
true.
No one was on the road.
I drove to Dearborn. I had to drive to Mercury.
Yeah.
I get to Mercury. I still don't know exactly what's going on because they haven't said anything on the radio. They had it on the news there.
Yeah.
And I can remember driving through Dearborn because I had to go get gas for my vehicle and my aunt. I filled up everyone's vehicle. I'm like, you walk in there.
Crazy gas prices that day, huh?
Well, there was one, I do remember because I stopped at a gas station in South Lyon on the way home.
Yeah.
I always went in there, but like I saw one gas station was at like $4 or $5 a gallon. I get into the gas station that I go to in South Lyon. Well, it was in Novi or Northfield, whatever. But
I go to say hi to my friend Amir.
Pretty much is what I did. I go in, I grab a couple things, and then
He wasn't there.
he goes, the Dearborn gas stations were crazy because they had some Arabic playing over the loudspeaker. The guy wouldn't look me in the face. Any person in there, it's all Arabic.
Yeah.
Nobody would look at me. Not one person. It was
Yeah,
weird.
but that's probably not any different from right
No,
now.
because-
they probably don't look at you now.
They totally do. They call me by name.
Yeah.
It's
Did
so
you have
good
your
to
horns?
see you.
No, I did not. I had like just a small beard and
Yeah, I was
the
going to
horns.
say this could have been the time where you had a beard and horns.
Yeah.
no, it was
This was that
still
time.
September.
I'm
I didn't
not-
have it for another
If you don't know or not familiar with Dearborn in Michigan, Dearborn is probably the largest Arab American population in the United States outside of
overseas.
Right.
Yep.
So that morning, and these are all, my kids played soccer with them. I know a lot of Arabic people in the city who are just normal people, but there was a lot of anti-Arab sentiment that day because people were confused, they were frightened, and they were scared, and so they were probably rightly, concerned and scared themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's the gas station I went to all the time. It was right on the corner of Warren and Schaefer.
Right.
It's a gas station I go to a lot, and the guy would straight down, didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So
That's
crazy.
Tough day. We spent it upstairs in the bedroom all day with Jack, who was 1 day old, just laying on the bed, and we were just watching a TV.
The amount of unmarked police cars that were going around Dearborn was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really was. It was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. It didn't really hit me until I can't remember what network we were watching, but they happened to catch jumpers, jumping out of the building.
Oh, I remember that.
That really hit home for me. The fact that all of these people were faced with some kind of crazy choice, either burn to death in the building or jump to your death, and they picked jumping.
Right.
And it was horrible. Whatever station we caught it on that happened to catch it.
Oh, I saw all that.
Didn't mean to. They weren't focusing on it, and they very quickly shifted away because it's just the kind of thing you don't want to see. So,
all right, Supertramp,
all
ladies
right,
and gentlemen.
Supertramp.
And what better way to transition out of that to an airing of grievances section where Todd Dillon can regale us with what's pissing him off in the world today.
Am I the only one who can air grievances? But okay, I'll take it. Hey, so this is a minor nit, but it is annoying, and people do it all the time. So has any of you ever been to the grocery store shopping, and then you're trying to make your way down the aisle, and then some person they're browsing salts or whatever, but they have their cart in the middle of the aisle so that you can't get past, and then you politely stop, and that they see in their periphery, but they don't actually make a move right away. They're still perusing instead of going, "Oh, sorry, I'm an asshole for leaving my shit in the middle of the aisle."
Yes. Yes. I give them 2 seconds, and then I move their cart.
I 100% same thing.
And depending upon the look I have just gotten from them, it might be violently moving their cart.
Yeah, I don't even care what look they give me because they usually look at me like, "Oh."
I want to shove them into the thing. And I have a sad admission. I was in the store with my wife, and didn't she frickin' park her cart in the middle and walk somewhere else to get something? I'm like, take your cart with her. I'm yelling at her.
You didn't want to be that jackass.
I'm like, you're one of them.
At least you stuck to your guns and told her right then and there.
I did. I chased her down. I thought, dude, I'm not in a very diverse community. I risked getting crushed by about 80 people at that store because I freaking went after her. But yeah, that's my grievance this week.
There's a lot of grocery store grievances. I think the one that I would have is the people who are shopping in the produce section or shopping at the deli counter, where you have to take a number.
Yeah.
Or you're on your own and you have to get
the
a
honor
bag.
system.
You have to get a bag, then you put your vegetables in that, and then you get another bag. And there's a lot of back and forth, and a lot of that's the place where people leave carts just wherever.
Yeah.
While they're just coming out foraging for their own vegetables, and you're like, I'm trying to get through here, and the guy's putting one potato in a bag. And I'm like, one potato? You're buying one potato?
It's just keep your cart in front of you and keep it as close to the side so that people can get by. It's I work to not be an avoidance, something people got to avoid. People just seem to be not aware of that, and then they look mad when you move their shit.
I don't like it because I do always certain if someone was ever following me, they would know my route around Kroger.
Yeah,
because I make the same route.
Now, okay, what's your route around Kroger? Tell me.
I do the vegetables first because it's right there when you walk in.
Okay,
hang on before you continue on with your story. I feel as if everyone has a route around Kroger,
Yeah.
but it's pretty much the same because that's how the fucking store's set up.
Because if you went a different door, different entrance.
Who walks into the store, goes to the left, cuts through the cashiers,
there's people
and then
all the
goes
time.
to the frozen aisle?
Have you not seen?
No, Greg.
Pay attention to people.
No.
I'm not saying that there's not people that. I'm just saying.
Well, in fairness,
People go up and down aisles a certain way.
Yeah.
It's like saying, what way do you like to go on the merry-go-round?
No. In fairness,
go the
I
opposite
don't
of
have
everybody
I don't
else,
have a route. I don't have a grocery store route because I don't like to shop. So when I go to the store, I know exactly what I'm getting, and so if vegetables are on the menu, then I go to that section. But I'll hang a left at the veggies if like I'm there for salt or something or flour or something like that.
Todd buys a lot of salt.
I do.
Great blood pressure.
Yes.
So do you use all right. So Corey's got a good point.
I think everybody does have one, but there are different. I do no,
So
because,
you say.
because some people will go like the Kroger I go to. They go to the produce and then they hit this. Then they go up and down the aisles for all their stuff. I do like a big loop circle.
You get all the cold stuff first, and then you shop for the warm stuff.
Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense,
weird.
Greg.
You walk all the way through the
So
store.
all the ice cream that you got is now melted by the time you get done.
that's one of the last things I
zigzagging
grabbed.
your way through the cereal aisles.
So you go to the frozen aisle just to not get your ice cream, to come back to the place where you want to get your stuff.
What are you
just to
playing,
go back
Pac-Man?
to the-
No, I literally I walk in, I go right to produce.
Yeah.
Which
And then I
Everyone
everyone knows
does.
in Kroger, it's right there. It's what you walk into.
But there's two entrances at Kroger, most Krogers. So yes, some people go to there first, or some people can go a different way.
That is true.
Hold on a second. Greg,
Yes.
if you show up at Kroger and there happens to be a rush on baked goods, and the area where you normally park, the store door where you normally go into, is all the spots are taken. So you had to park closer to the other door that you don't ever
Down
go
by
into.
the self-checkout lanes.
Exactly. You're telling me that you would then walk outside the long way so you can run your route? You wouldn't walk in the other way and then adjust your route?
I go in through the same door every single time, no matter where
So
I
even if you
park.
park by the other
Doesn't
door,
matter.
you
Wherever
walk
I
all the way
park, I will walk all the way else around. I will.
I do have a funny story about that because the last time they.
Cheers. Hold on. Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. All right. Hold on. So we're doing a Schnozzcast shot, podcast shot. Please join us. We're not live, so you should be able to pause this. And you're back. Here we go.
Hold on. I'm pouring my...
Oh,
God
shit.
bless
Okay.
America.
Hold on.
Oh, my
hold on.
God.
It's always that one guy.
Weren't you watching the video with Nick walking around pouring shots?
No,
and
he's
shit?
not paying attention.
No! There's a game on.
There's a game.
He's watching the game.
I'm not even. I didn't even know it was on a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Bengals and the Titans.
That game's over.
Sorry.
The Packers and the Niners.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm ready. Salute.
Cheers.
Sweet Machu Picchu.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I got bottle service, and he came over and filled my glass.
Gave him a handy.
Let me finish the. Yeah, he might as well have. It was very satisfying.
He's got small hands.
5 stars.
He must have small hands.
10 out of 10. Would recommend.
Would visit again.
Like a little infant. Corey, your story.
Like this.
So the last time Daniel and I went to Kroger, we were going to walk in the door, and this guy, he was a really tall dude, and he came out and he's standing there,
It's like 5'10".
hilarious.
Long beard.
I was thinking exactly that. I'm like, to Cory, like a dude that's 5'11" is like a giant.
I will kick you right out of this room, Todd.
Looks like we lost you, Todd. Sorry.
And I don't know what you're talking about over there, Mr. fucking tall stuff. No, Todd.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm taller than you.
No, you're not.
I'm like 4 inches taller than you.
Todd, you are so full of shit. It's not even funny.
Okay.
So
You say
Remind me
so.
next time Todd's in town for us to take
Oh,
a group
of course.
photo.
Tail the
No
tape.
apple boxes this time. Everybody stands on the ground. Anyway, go ahead.
This guy comes walking out, and he's just standing there, and he's looking just blankly around the parking lot. And as we're walking, I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, he looks so befuddled. He finally grabs his keys out of his pocket and hits his little key fob. And you hear all the way on the other side of the parking lot just this, "Bing." And he just looks and goes, oh, fuck. I said, wrong door, buddy? He said, God damn it, I do this every time.
Did you give him a ride?
We were walking in. Would you give him a piggyback ride?
You could have gone back to your car and given him a ride to his car.
So did you at least follow Bob home after that?
Well played, sir.
Bob, you always forget what door.
Oh, nuts.
Oh, nuts.
This is why I don't drive.
Hey, Nick, can I trouble you for pick up the Kroger? I'm going to get Jack to pick me up. Either Plan B is an Uber. Either way. All right. Anyone else got any more grievances that are not
sorry. I thought we were. That was still booze news. I forgot we wanted to.
I have another grievance.
I know.
This is.
I thought it was housekeeping.
I have another grocery grievance.
Not even sure we were recording. Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
So why are people wearing pajamas into the grocery store?
Because they're trash.
Yeah, that's easy. They're monsters.
But when did this start? And how did it start? And why?
Todd, seriously? When did it start? The people of Walmart website has been around, I think, since 1992.
When was the internet started?
Yeah.
The next day.
It's been happening for a while, buddy.
I had seen. Well, hang on. So let me preface this. When I was a kid, I had, and maybe for you younger folks, you won't know what they are, but we wore bad clothing. We had jams and shit like that when we were kids. But I saw teenagers and high schoolers rolling around in pajamas, and I thought, you goofy kids, you're going to look back and think of how dumbass you look. But I'm seeing like grown ass elderly folks rolling in house shoes and house coats. When did that start happening?
I think people just have no fucks to give, and they're just like, you know what? Don't care.
A long time ago, buddy.
Work from home.
Well, let's.
Yeah.
So what's the? This is a great question for the group. What is the shabbiest you've been to Kroger with?
Okay, so I'll tell you this.
Shabbiest condition or outfit?
I'm stuck in the middle because I don't agree. And first of all, I really don't care. I do not. For me personally, if you want to show up, in pajama pants or sweatpants, I don't give two shits. If you're showing up in like disgusting stained clothes, like that's nasty. But I'm somewhere in between. Like I think it's just as crazy for people that I feel like get dressed up to go to Kroger. Like I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to be wearing pajamas, but I'm not going to be, like Todd, I'm not going to put on my Canary Steve Harvey to go to Kroger, with 18 buttons going down the side and the matching hat and shoes.
That's so racist.
I know. It was right on the nose.
Where is the line for you?
As I've said in the past, how can it be racist if I like the race?
That's true. That's true. I'm not sure you said it to me, but I guarantee you said it. So where's the line for you? Like, will you?
For me, it's
will
like,
you take a shower to go to Kroger?
No.
Okay.
No, hold on. I'm not trying to push any like regulated rule, but what I'm saying is this: at the end of the day, the kids are going to dress stupid and do crazy shit. When 50-year-old ladies have on their pajamas, and by the way, typically old people pajamas, we old people start wearing the same shit again and again. It starts wearing thin. When I see a freaking gelatin ass sticking out of that hole worn into the ass of your pajama bottoms at the grocery store, I'm disgusted. I don't give a shit if you take your shower or not. It's gross.
You need to go to the Taylor one.
Todd, I thought you lived in an affluent community.
You need to start going to a better Kroger.
No, I agree.
There's probably 4 Krogers around me, and I know which ones I won't go to.
I agree with that. There's Krogers are funny, like, and it's not even dependent on the city. Like it's a pretty good guess. Like if you went to the Novi Kroger,
I feel like it is very dependent on the city, but
it does matter a little bit. But it's matters. Like Walmart. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Well, and like I said, I've been in there where people are grubby. I live next to a place where people hike. People come in there muddy and all mucked in. I don't care. I'm just I'm like
off of work.
Pajamas.
So here's the two things that I'll say. So the one thing is, I agree that it's not just based on city, because I've gone to some cities where there's a brand new Kroger and you think it's a nice city and you see some disgusting people. And then I've gone to a city like the Taylor Kroger here that I was like, oh, I'll never go to that Taylor Kroger. It's in Taylor. And it's nice.
I go to. That's
It's
the
nice.
one I always go to.
Yeah, and it's nice. I
apologize would be a good thing for you to say right now.
No, I have no issues ever.
It has its moments depending on when you go.
I lived in Novi for like almost 4 years, and I was just spoiled because every store I went into out there, it was like you never dealt with the people of Walmart, those kind of people. But I will say this: I don't care where I go aside from Tawas. Every Walmart I've ever gone to has the weirdest employees and the weirdest people. I swear to God to you, I've gone to the Walmart right around the block from my house at
that one's
every different hour of the day.
They might as well just be sucking on nuclear waste at that one.
Dude, I am telling you, there were people with like crazy eyes, like they couldn't focus on my face.
That's exactly why I just said.
There's nothing wrong with that. Don't focus on me.
Employees.
Watch where you're going.
First of all, the employees are not tentative. Like you have to like beat them over the head to ask them a question. Secondly, I've gone up to employees that somehow have Southern accents. I'm like, do you know where this is? They're like, well, you're probably gonna have to go down that aisle. And I'm like, what the hell is going? We're in Michigan. Where do they fly you in? Like, oh, we got a shortage, so let's reach out to our Kentucky Super Center.
The Walmart.
It's got a training program.
It's the Walmart exchange program.
Yeah.
They must, because I've been in Michigan for my whole life, and I've never gone to a store. You maybe once in a while will bump into someone from the South. I went there, and like there were like 3 people. And I'm like, oh my God, what the? So there must be something going on. But and then the other thing was where I draw my line in the sand, like Bob was asking. And my line in the sand is this: no, I will not take. First of all, I will never smell. But no, I will not take a shower just to go to the grocery store. I will put on normal clothes. I will change socks and things like that, and I will brush my teeth and wash my face. That's my line in the sand.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
That's it. So yeah, I won't even, like, if I'm leaving the house, I have to shower before I go anywhere. That's number one.
I think all of our loyal listeners are aware of your showering
so
requirements.
So you shower at night and then before you go somewhere?
Yes.
I mean, I was blessed to not have hygiene issues, but I mean, if that's what you got to do, I appreciate it.
Hey, sometimes you get a little sweaty at night, buddy.
At night.
What?
Word.
Hold on a minute.
Hey, speaking of one thing.
Thank you, Todd.
One thing that struck me though in your Walmart conversation is I've been in Walmart exactly one time since 2009, and I don't plan to go into another one.
Man, you are missing out on the people watching.
Todd,
No, I can't.
I love to go, whether it's Walmart or Kroger, going like in the last hour before they close, which Walmart's a 24/7 thing, right?
Most of them.
No.
Oh, no, they're not? They're not?
They've everyone across the U.S. has stopped that.
So
there's no 11 o'clock is the latest they will be open.
So if you go from 10 to 11,
what about
close?
What about Myers Thrifty Acres?
Well,
they were closing early the last time I was in town.
If Walmart's only going to 11. Myers going to copy and do the same.
Yeah, they did the same
rolling
thing.
in his grave right
now. But those are the times where it's fucking entertaining to go, and I will cop to waiting to go then just so I can be completely entertained by whom I'm going to see at the grocery store.
Oh,
I'm not entertained as much as I'm disgusted. I didn't know that humans could actually be. It's horrible.
It's like
horrible.
going to the zoo. I can
It's
look
worse
at it
than
with
that.
a sense of detachment.
It's worse than
go,
that. Somebody comes in and shovels the shit at the
Look
zoo.
at that.
Somebody comes in and hoses the zebras down. No,
dude,
they wash the animals. They shovel the shit.
Novi or a Northville, Walmart or a Kroger to see like a proliferation of yoga pants.
Oh my God!
Good looking people. I have the same excitement about going at 10 o'clock to like the Taylor Walmart.
So,
dude, nothing would ever beat the Taylor Walmart when it was 24 hours at like 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I made that mistake.
Dude, watching those rock biters was Fucking insane.
I made that mistake.
Flat foot, fat feet, rock biters.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I walked up to a woman that I can only describe as, I'm assuming her name is Brenda. And
Hey, now, hold on.
and I walked up to Brenda, who looked very nice, and I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am." I'm like, "I just need to know." And she's like, "What are you looking for?" And she like had no teeth, and I was like, "Ah!" I was like, "Oh my god!" Like she looked like the most normal person there, and I was like, "Ah, I'll find it myself." And
And she had a southern draw, didn't she? The southern
she did.
draw.
I'm telling you, they fly them in. But I will say I disagree with Bob's sentiment about the last minute, because I used to work a shift to where I'd only get out of work with like an hour left before a Kroger or something would close. And I would do everything I could to work a shift to where I could still make Kroger hours, because if I had to buckle down and go to Walmart, it would fucking kill me. But I will say this.
It's a different, but I'm just a casual observer. I could leave whenever I want. You actually had to stay,
Yeah.
do a job, enforce the law, etc. I understand and agree with you.
But for me, what I'm saying is I did not enjoy anything about that, even Kroger, because I feel like that there is a feeling of extreme exigence at that time, because you get like the every 7.5 minutes. Attention Kroger shoppers, we'll be closing in 45 minutes. And everyone's like looking around like they're in Squid Game, like they have to get out before they get killed or something.
But
like,
that's when militias are formed.
that gives me anxiety. Sometimes I'll forfeit some of the items because I'm like, it's going to bottleneck. Everyone is going to be running towards the one register open at that point, and it gives me anxiety.
That's when
Yeah,
you
but
grab
they're not going to turn
That's when you
you
grab
away.
the olive oil off the shelf and you start squirting it down the aisles. Good luck getting to the get behind me, because
Try following me.
yeah, exactly.
Whip! Boom. Right on the ground. Yeah, I hate that, but I just as much hate. My mom was big on the.
You hate your mom.
Yeah.
What?
My mom was big on the going to church and right after church on Sunday going grocery shopping with the family. With the family.
Oh my God.
And what a clusterfuck of a zoo. I seriously, even today, like just normally going to the grocery store, I get like anxiety because I can't stand when people are like, excuse me, or they're reaching beyond your shoulder and stuff. I'm like, dude, what the fuck do you need? Just get it.
I just picture of Nick walking through the grocery store like this the entire time.
I don't want people
Get
around
away!
me.
Get away!
I can't stand a congested,
Too close.
passive-aggressive grocery store where people are like standing behind you, and then you finally move out of the way like, okay, motherfucker, what the fuck was so goddamn important that you needed to fucking get where I was standing, and they don't get anything, and they start walking away.
He starts putting his hand on the butt of his weapon.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Nick at a Kroger. I'm just going, oh, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the unspoken passive aggressiveness that drives me crazy. Like if someone just said, excuse me, I can appreciate that. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. But it's the haunting, shadowy figure that you feel standing behind you that you know they want to get something. So they're pretending just to be like looking
lurker.
at their phone. So finally you
lurker.
move and they're like, and they grab the cream corn or whatever the fuck it may be. But it's like, just fucking say, excuse me. That's all.
Have you encountered a spook, specter, or a ghost?
So that is my normal Kroger trip, let alone a Sunday Kroger trip. I mean, I would never be caught dead in a grocery store on a Sunday.
I love Sunday shopping at Kroger.
Sunday's not bad. The Taylor, okay.
Yeah. It depends on
Taylor,
the Kroger.
The Taylor Kroger, I don't care what time of day you go, it's busy. It does. I'll get off of work at like
Especially when they have
1:30 in the afternoon on
gotta
a Tuesday,
you
and
gotta
it will be busy.
You got to know your neighborhood Kroger.
especially when they have 25 lanes
Todd.
and 5 of them are open.
Todd
Yeah,
Willett,
always.
out in Washington. Well, it's not a Kroger, right? It's something else.
Piggly Wiggly.
Well, it's QFC,
QFC, which is short
Mm-hmm.
for.
Quality Food Company.
Wow. Okay, there you have it. So at QFC, do you know your neighborhood QFC? Like here's the hours that it's really it's fine to go. Here's the hours where if you're in a hurry, like don't even bother.
I hate shopping. Did I tell you that?
Yes, I heard that. But
So do I.
I think the only time I notice that, and this makes sense, the only time where it impacts me and I notice it's super busy is Friday after, like Friday 4 to 8. Everybody's stocking up for the weekend.
Friday 4 to 8. Okay, and that's fair.
That's like that is jam. So I try to avoid that. And it's typically I'm like, oh shit, I need blah because I'm going to make this tonight or tomorrow.
You know what's amazing that
What's
I do
that?
all the time? First, my number one go-to is Instacart. absolutely amazing.
Yeah?
I'll pay the extra money. Yep. Drop it off on my porch. That's fine. But the backup, if you don't want to spend extra money and you hate shopping like me, is just the Kroger pickup. You just got to spend $35. I'm not going into Kroger to buy like one bag of tea.
No,
So
I'm with you. I haven't done that. The only thing I think my only real angst for doing that is, and because I've seen it a couple of times because I've done it for my mom, is where they pick a substitute item, and I'm very particular. Like if I asked for like a specific seasoned salt because I like salts, Bob. If I ask for a specific seasoned salt, I don't want Kroger brand seasoned salt. I want my bottom of the bucket is Lowry. So
the coolest thing about Instacart is before the shop even goes through, before they even bid it to anyone, you can pick your backup, and you can also pick like if you have like a brand name something that you really want, and you're like, this is specifically what I want. There's no substitute. You can click refund me if they don't have it.
Okay, so my Instacart though is the delivery service though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So then I live in a town where there's no delivery available. I don't live in Seattle proper.
God, Instacart is amazing.
Nick, if you ever need one tea bag at night, give me a call, buddy. I'll take care of you.
I'm sure that's happened while
Or
I've
some
been
Arabian
drunk and
Goggles.
sleeping several times. So
Or Arabian Goggles. They're good for sleeping.
Arabian Goggles. Man, Cory, I thought Rock Biters was it, but now Arabian Goggles might give it for a run for its money.
Fuck that. I rarely get a
I
title
wrote
name.
Rock Biters down, and I'm like, done. That's it. And now, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a tough choice.
But yeah, Todd, I mean, especially, you do very well for yourself, and Instacart you wouldn't even have to take a second glance at it. And
I like it because I dread shopping. Like it's funny. Like I said, I have no pattern when I go to the store because I'm like, I know exactly what I'm there to get, and then whatever the shortest route to those things, I do it. I'm in and out. I hate being in the store.
Will Instacart drop off to a helicopter?
You can borrow my helicopter, sir.
But the coolest part is like a very clear reminder of how much I hate shopping. It is one of the things that I like about Instacart is that they time the shoppers and they keep a tally that you can't see. And after each purchase, you'll get a little old school clock with the numbers, and it'll go tick, 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 and it'll say, so far with Instacart, you say 76 hours of shopping. And I'm like,
Oh wow, I like it.
76 hours?
I like
based
it.
on how many times you've ordered from Instacart.
Okay.
Yeah, so in total, and when you actually think about it, I know Corey's giving me the lemon in his mouth
the
face.
stink eye.
Yeah, the gas face. But he's giving me that face
Malokia.
because there is nothing more that Cory loves to do, especially with Danielle.
I love a Kroger trip, man.
Loves
shop.
the shopping.
The-
Yeah, the
he's a big
experience.
shopper.
Yeah.
But I absolutely despise it. And when I think about it, and I'm like, wait, hold on. So for like what, $10 extra, for a membership each month,
Yeah.
and a little bit of a tip.
Yeah,
I don't
We're
have to.
Plus a tip?
I don't
We're-
have
we're-
to. I don't have to
We're kindred
spend.
spirits.
I'm out.
I don't have to spend fucking 2 hours in the grocery store.
I don't
How
mind.
are you
Hell
spending
yeah.
2 hours at the grocery store? I'm
Whatever it may be. Whatever it may
Yeah,
be.
it could be, 'cause it's hard to
20 minutes.
No.
20
Because you're
minutes.
hold on.
you're buying pizza spice and chicken breast, dude.
They don't sell automatic weapons at Kroger.
Yeah. That's why he's there for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I'm there.
Exactly.
So are you
chicken
counting-
spice, pizza spice, and chicken breast.
Are you counting the amount of time you spend in line to check out? Because
I'll-
these days, that's where I'm spending most of my time is waiting to fucking check out.
it
Even on a
depends.
self-checkout.
It depends on the self-checkout versus right. I would rather go to somebody. I find
So
it a
would
little
I.
bit easier.
So would I.
Yeah, I don't fucking work there.
I typically go on a Sunday or I go on like a Monday afternoon when I get out of work.
I haven't been
So
trained
it's-
on how to pack a bag.
It's not super busy, but it's still busy. But like I said, my route takes me under 10 minutes, about maybe not even 10 minutes to go around.
Yeah, but you've seen my fridge. For someone that
you can't fit anything in your fridge.
for someone that likes to cook, I would assume I'm just going to take a stab in the dark here. Greg's kind of a meat and potatoes kind of guy, and hey, I'm going to get a bag of rice and some grilled chicken, and I'm going to food prep, and that's going to be my week.
That's all that's in my fridge. It's literally meal prep containers. in there.
Exactly.
And thus, 20 minutes sounds like an eternity.
So, but for me, I actually enjoy looking at food and buying food and things like that. So you'd think it's surprising that I hate shopping, but I also know myself. I have a little bit of that Cory spirit in me, and I would buy a lot of things that I don't need. So if I can pick out what I do need ahead of time and not even be tempted at the grocery store, then that's what I'm going to do.
No, I think the one thing, I love to cook. I love to see my meats, especially when in produce. One of the cool things about living here, though, is I go down to the market in Seattle. I'll make that trip, and again, it's not even shopping. I have the place that I go to. I know the fish is fresh. Love it, but I hate shopping, and Instacart's going to be on my thing. I think we're kindred spirits there. I think if I could never step into a store except for to shop for specifically fresh meats and produce, that might be the ticket to a life hack that I can get behind.
Dude, Todd, what's that called?
That is where the flying fish market is, though.
I was just going to say, I could just see Todd catching a 7-pound salmon.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
They're not letting you behind the counter to do that. But I did when my sister was in town a few weeks back. They're still being extra cautious. But when my niece and nephew were in town, and they got to get the fish launched over them, which was actually worked out even funnier because all the goop from the fish was all over their faces when the fish went over their heads. So,
but I will say, love-hate relationship. Love going to places like Costco and Sam's Club because I personally never go, but I also hate it because it's like a grocery store on crack.
I hate it because I don't walk out of there without spending like $200 or $300.
Well, that is number one. But also I will be.
I need this.
I will be there. Yeah, about 18 pounds of pretzels. Of course, I need that. But so that's why Instacart also does Plum Market, Sam's Club, Costco, like all that shit. Like Plum Market, there's no Plum Market around here. It's way the fucking Ann Arbor. It's a super high end. It's like a higher end Bush's. They have all kinds of awesome shit. So I can order from there and they deliver here.
Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I now remember one of the greatest grievances I need to air ever. So please tee me up for my Costco and why I may never go back there again.
Right now, or
do we have time?
After the break, I'm assuming we got a break.
I'm assuming after the break, we're pretty close up. We're over an hour, aren't we?
All right. Please join us for another podcast shot. Todd has got him. Greg's got him. Cory's got him. Nick's got him. Here we go.
Salute!
Cheers. So, Todd, I know earlier we were talking about that you have a hen house.
I do.
Was there anything specific that you do when you go in your hen house?
I think
hell yeah! I play jam. I play the latest chicken jams. Chicken dance, or chicken wing.
Now, do you
Cory knows that song.
Do you remind all the hens in the hen house that you're the biggest cock in the house?
Every chance I get to. I'd be slanging.
I played fair. It's on the show.
You did. Well done, sir.
Nicely done. Except for Cory didn't sing. Chicken wing.
Chicken wing, chicken wing. Hot dogs and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies.
My chickens love it.
Bob, can you put
my
that on
chickens
button?
love
If Todd hadn't laughed, it would have been awesome. Isolated that. Wait, no.
Wait, he's on a second track.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
One more time.
Eureka! No, he won't do it again.
It's too late now.
I think
you can isolate the track.
I can get that. All right, and with that,
Dude, and how creepy will it sound? Just him with no one in the background, just singing by himself.
Well, more importantly, when are we ever going to play that? When is it going to be cool to go, like, you know what I should do right now? Fucking Cory macaroni song.
I don't know when it would really fit in.
Dude, I just assume when Danielle said last week, like, she's like, I don't know. That's all the crazy shit that he does while I'm asleep. I don't know what he does. When she was saying that last week, I just envision him making macaroni, singing that song in the kitchen by himself while she's asleep. No,
That Kramer with the fucking sausages just got to dance it in.
Unfortunately, I envision something slightly more disgusting.
I'm sure you do.
Cory wearing himself on the back end while she's still asleep because he's working with a small piece of work.
Yeah. I envision something completely different. I envision Cory in the kitchen making mac and cheese and zapping the fuck out of some rat testicles.
Or that.
All right, let's get into gentleman's agreement.
Oh, it's the MF and gentleman's agreement. Oh, done.
All right. All right. Going down the list that I have, Nick Bader, you had Moneyball from me.
Moneyball.
Yes, I did.
Uh-oh.
All right, give us a 30-second. What's it about?
Stand by.
Doesn't remember.
Let me just remind you.
Baseball has been very good to me.
Yes. I watched it very early.
Yes.
I watched it very early in the week, and
Well, good
I
for you.
completely forgot. I'm like, what the fuck was this about? I'm thinking of the movie last week of The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. So I see where you were going.
Okay.
I saw that I made a claim that it was nice to see Jonah Hill in a serious role, and you wanted to give me this.
Yep.
So I get that.
And I liked the movie. I think it was a really good movie.
Yeah, and I also, immediately got upset that, like my father, you and Cory seem to think that, he hates sports, but maybe if we give him enough sports things every now and then, he'll come around a little bit.
I was going to say, you said Moneyball, and I'm like,
maybe he'll come around a little bit.
Not at all. Not at all.
But
I thought the fact that it was a sports movie was secondary to the movie itself.
To the business portion of it.
Exactly.
So we have to lean and rest on the laurels of the fact that theoretically Bob should be handing me the movie if he thinks it's a great movie that he thinks I'll enjoy.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a sports movie and I hate sports is second to him thinking I would like it. Why he would think I would like a sports movie when he knows I hate sports doesn't matter because he thinks I will like it first. So it cancels that out.
Yeah. And I could be wrong, and I'm totally fine with that.
So the movie is based on... It's a baseball movie, and it's based on Brad Pitt is the lead actor in the show, and he the A's he buys or something like that. Yeah, the Athletics.
Well, he's promoted as the
GM,
general manager.
Yep, the GM of the A's. He starts out with them, and he ends up meeting. Spoiler alert: he ends up meeting Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill is some geeky kid working for a different ball club, and who has figured out mathematically that you don't need big star players that look good on the field and are just hitting home runs all the time, but that it's about getting runs, getting walks, getting anything you can, and just getting the points up, basically. And so it was interesting. It was super interesting after I got over the hump of the fact that it was sports related. Same with Cory, giving me the Fantastic Five, or whatever the fuck it was called.
The Russian Five?
Hold on.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Fantastic Five.
And also,
is that a new Marvel movie?
Yeah. Bob just got so hard. And
no, I was totally
Marvel?
stunned. I'm like, what the fuck?
And
Did I miss a week?
No, and Cory also gave me the wrestling documentary, which I was immediately not happy about. But then I watched it and I really enjoyed it.
Beyond the Mat, right? Is that it?
Dark Side of the Ring.
Their side.
Cory
gave him two?
No, Cory gave me Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, I still have Beyond the Mat on my list.
No, that's wonderful.
No, he watched it.
No, I
Did
didn't.
he?
Yeah, it's right here, February 26th of 2021.
Is Dark Side of the Ring on there as well?
Beyond the Mat.
I know Dark Side of the Ring.
It is back in November.
so you did get both
You've
of
seen
them.
them both.
Okay. So
It's even worse than you thought.
that's wonderful. But Dark Side of the Ring was different. Like, I anticipated, I knew some things going in about wrestling because I grew up with that.
That it's not a sport?
That was also more about the behind the scenes. That didn't have to do with the actual sport, quote unquote
The
sport
acting?
itself.
Yeah, there was
The acting?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get derailed, because I'm just the correlation between my initial thought and the fact that he gave me the Russian Five, he gave me Dark Side of the Ring, Bob gave me Moneyball, and I liked them all. I really did. Moneyball was fantastic. They broke it down. I mean, you were able to jump a hurdle of someone that does not like sports and get past that. I found it interesting. But the fact of the matter is I like to compare it this way, is that I listen to Drew and Mike a lot, and though they're not a sports podcast, they talk a lot about sports. And I'm okay with that, and I often wonder and question why I'm okay with that. And I'm like, why am I listening to this? I don't care about, this fucking football player that won't get vaccinated. I don't give a fuck about that, but it's noise, and it's interesting, and they're talking points. But more importantly, this is a movie, and the movie is supposed to entertain, and it absolutely did. And
Awesome.
I thought it was a great movie.
Bravo. I thought it was a great reach, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah. You specifically told me last week, Todd, that this was a bold choice, and that it was a reach, and I might regret it, and I almost did. But I'm like, I got faith. I'm like, I think the movie's strong enough to overcome the fact that it is a sports movie.
I love it.
It's a really good story.
And I loved Field of Dreams. I absolutely loved Field of Dreams.
Yeah, so I didn't know that, but
Yeah.
that's a great. I feel
Now we're all
had I known
blown
that,
up.
I would feel even more confident.
Brian song next.
But
man.
I mean, this isn't like
Todd, put that on your list for him because you're right. That would be.
But I was
Wow.
literally just gonna say I shudder at the fact of giving such a great review, because I don't want to encourage the behavior of giving me sports movies. I want to encourage behavior of giving me legitimate movies that you think are great.
Yeah,
But you have
that's
to internalize and think about, why do I think this is great? Do I think this is great because I love baseball? Or do I think this is great because it's an entertaining movie? And if the second question rings true, like, yes, it's an entertaining movie, even if you don't like baseball, then yeah, give it to me.
Yeah.
But if it's something where you're like, oh, I love football, and this is all about football, so he should like it too. Like, that's where I'll draw the line. I'll be like, no.
No, I would never do that.
The longest yard.
Wait, the original or
Just like
the
I
remake?
would never give Cory
The remake.
Alien or Aliens, because it is at its heart, it is a great science fiction movie, and I know Cory hates science fiction. All the science fiction movies I've given Cory have been ones where, like Moneyball, I thought that the fact that it was a good story would transcend the fact that it happened to be a science fiction movie.
And yeah,
Sometimes I've been okay. A lot of times it's been a complete miss.
and that's it. Yeah, every quote unquote sports related movie or documentary I've given you has never been because I'm like, oh, Nick hates sports. Let's try to get him on this side.
Right. Yeah, I'm
It
not
was
gonna convert you.
it was literally because of the content of it. Just it happened to do with sports.
Oh, also, rough side note, but I read something recently. You know, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are related?
By blood?
I can believe it.
They're like 10th removed cousins.
So not by blood.
Yeah, that's blood.
Eh,
That's blood.
It's thin.
I did not.
There was
I
very
feel like
watered
they
down.
probably didn't know that either.
there
when
was
they first wrote Good Will Hunting.
there was an article about celebrities surprisingly that are related, and it tells how many times removed, and some of them were like related to like Queen of England from like the 1700s. You know, so
Yeah, but we're just as likely to be. You and I both likely to be related based on Thomas Jefferson.
Well, that's
sure.
that's
I agree with that.
fair point.
I mean, in a sense, yeah, you can.
Thomas Jefferson was an asshole. That's from what I heard.
He made a lot of biracial babies.
Well, with that, Todd, you had to watch WeWork by
Good
Cory.
night, everybody.
Yes.
WeWork by Cory.
Yes. So Cory's been on a run. He's been on a
He's been
on a
an
tear.
incredible run.
Yes.
I should have taken the time to really put together the run, but I'm sure Cory already has.
Yeah, I mean, you should have. I mean, ultimately, much like Joey Guido and his appearances versus our main man tonight, Greg. I gotta believe Cory's on a tear like no one else in gentleman's agreement. But as what typically happens, people who enjoy success, or teams that enjoy success, they rest on their laurels and they end up falling back to the ground.
Oh, I can't wait. Go ahead, Todd.
So I'm giving WeWork a solid C-. It's a passing grade in my reviews. I was very interested in it. Cory was seizing on the fact that Generation Hustle was a home run, loved it, and WeWork was one of the many segments in it. And so he's like, hey, there's no way TD doesn't love diving in deeper to WeWork, especially being that it was touted as a tech company. I'm a tech guy. It had all the makings of something that would be good, but I would expect though that knowing me, Cory, you'd have known this fell short from a documentary's perspective because there's a lot missing. I saw greed and just the burning through of hundreds of millions of dollars every week. And that was very intriguing. And all the people telling their sob stories. But the documentary left me a little bit high and dry in that it didn't tell me how bad people had it. Like the people who transitioned from the original WeWork to WeLive, how much money did they lose a bunch of money, or were they making great money? And in the end, they didn't make $1 quadrillion because WeWork fizzled out. It topped out at $47 billion valuation and is now valued at about $19 million. Did they just lose out on being millionaires? Did they make a good living right there? The documentary left a lot to be desired. And if I didn't give the 30-second synopsis, it's the story of WeWork. That's it. Full stop. And the documentary I saw, like I said, left out too many key points and lots of things that would be interesting for a documentary. They left a lot out. And so with that, I give them a solid C-.
Not cool, Cory.
Hey, I mean, I'll take the grade. It's still a decent grade from Todd.
It's a passing grade.
Yeah, and it's been so long since I've seen that documentary. And you are correct. The only reason I assigned that to you was the correlation between Generation Hustle and WeWork. So it was, in all honesty, Todd, it was the most fitting for you, and that's why I had it on my list. It was strictly for you in a follow up to Generation Hustle. So I'm still.
I appreciate it. I caught you slipping. You got a C-.
It was a movie. Right. Hold on. It was a movie for you. What's that supposed to be?
For the fact that he watched Generation Hustle.
And like I said, and dude, having been at WeWork, I've actually acquired WeWork space in my career. So it was very, very, like I said, he took a great line, but it's like he didn't watch it and go, oh, the documentary itself just isn't as well made as it should have been.
No, I'll give you that.
Great topic.
There was a lot left to the imagination that should have been answered, but like I said, it was on the list, and it was the most fitting after you watching Generation Hustle. So,
all right,
I got you.
Okay,
Greg Gumtow.
Yes.
Last time you were here, back in December, you were assigned Those Who Wish Me Dead, and I cannot recall who assigned that to you.
I believe it was Todd.
Todd Dillon.
Okay, well, Todd, you're finally gonna get your review.
I am ready.
Because Greg watched that bitch.
I did. I watched it today. I like
Just
to have
in time.
I like to have it fresh in my memory.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unfortunately, Angelina Jolie,
Yes,
and John Bernthal, the guy that played the Punisher.
Oh, the Punisher, badass
Yes.
actor.
Did not play the super badass in this one. A little disappointed, but whatever.
Sure. 30 second.
30
synopsis.
second
What's
synopsis. Firefighter, parafighter. I guess I don't know what they're called. They put fires out in the forest and stuff like that. They helicopter.
Oh yeah.
They jump in.
Wildfire, fire jumpers.
Yeah, there you go.
about? Fire jumpers. That's
Yes.
it. Nice.
Basically, she had an incident where they misjudged some wind. A couple kids got killed. Fast forward, this guy's and his kid. Guy gets in some trouble because of his job. A couple people are after him. Kill the guy. Kid goes in the forest. Spoiler alerts. Finds her, Angelina Jolie's character, who then has to protect him as they're trying to get to. Apparently, John Bernthal's character is supposed to be the kid's uncle. Kid didn't even recognize him, and the uncle didn't recognize him.
Stupid kid.
What?
It was. They had a moment. It was like, and they're in
Did
pictures.
you watch this all the way through, or did you
No,
watch it,
yeah.
fall
Not for-
asleep, and take a nap? And
No,
then-
I watched
Not for nothing. If my little brother's kids saw me in a mall, I wouldn't recognize them, and they wouldn't recognize me.
But there was a picture earlier in the movie. Anyways,
I
a little
digress.
weird. Yeah.
That's why I picked this movie for you, Greg, because I knew that there's a situation where an uncle wouldn't recognize his nephew or niece.
Based it strictly off that piece of
Yes.
information.
Anyways, so there were some scenes with some lightning where she got hit by some lightning. there's no way she gets up from that. I'm sorry. I'm like, this is not.
That's what lost you?
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? She should have been dead.
Yep.
By a lightning bolt. You don't shake that one off.
I mean,
Not instantly.
well, no, not instantly, but
I'm getting the feeling that you were not impressed by this.
Did not totally care for it
Okay.
all that
Okay.
much.
All right.
I mean, I expected more. It left me wanting more because it was just like, oh, that's how they did that? No, they could have been so much better.
So with that movie and Eternals, Angelina Jolie's been kind of sucking a big fat dick in the box office.
I enjoyed the
years.
Eternals.
Did you really?
I did.
I was gonna say I knew that he was an Angelina Jolie fan, and I picked it for. Again, it is 100% a suspend disbelief, and I'm still trying to figure out Mr. Greg Gumtow based on things that he's assigned to me, and so that this was absolutely I took a flyer on it, but I'm zeroing in on what is important.
I like horror.
fair.
I like horror. I like action, but like it was the way this was done with the bad guys that they picked, with certain characters that they used. It didn't fit.
Okay.
That's
Fair enough.
Okay.
I have not been on a tear like Cory, so I'm good.
Who among us can say that? And with that in mind, I'm going to save Cory for the end. It's like, quite frankly, can't wait to hear it. And I'm going to go next and say that I had to watch Evil Genius, which was from you,
Yes, it was.
Cory?
No, it was me.
no.
Oh, was it Todd?
Yeah.
It was me.
Oh,
TD.
okay. All right, Todd. So Evil Genius on Netflix is a 6-part series about it was back in 2003 in Erie, Pennsylvania. A guy walked into a bank with a bomb strapped to his chest and a collar around his neck and robbed the bank, and then was apprehended outside. I don't think I need to say spoiler alerts here because this was in the news.
Is that the guy that
Yeah,
blew himself up?
No, he didn't blow himself up.
There's the beauty. That's why I love this show.
Yeah.
Look at what people think happened.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of stop right there and say that he was apprehended following that bank robbery, but what happened after that over the next 6 episodes was a really interesting documentary about what happened and all of the players that were involved and all the questions that were raised and how none of it. Yeah,
I really hate to do this because I know it's not proper, but he wasn't apprehended after the bank robbery. To paint a picture for people that haven't seen it.
well, I don't want to give them any spoilers.
No, it's not. A standoff ensued. He wasn't taken into custody by any means.
He was handcuffed.
Is that the guy that was sitting by the car
Yeah.
on the ground outside?
So that was apprehended. He was handcuffed and
Right, but that's where I was going with it.
Yeah.
So he was originally apprehended, and then when they realized what was on his person
attached to him,
yeah.
then it became a standoff. So it wasn't like a
That's fair.
just like I said, to paint a clear picture for people that might have not seen it, that might want to see it.
Yeah, no. If I am recommending this documentary. I thought it of all the documentaries I've been assigned, this was in the top tier. It was really, really good, and it held my attention for going on 6 episodes, almost 6 hours of content about the story behind how he came to be there, why he was there, all of the questions that were raised during the investigation, all the other players that were involved. And, I think if that's your thing and you want to take a look at a documentary that's sort of true crime based, that's not, that on its surface isn't exactly what it seems, I give it a solid B+. So
Thank you. I'll take
well
it.
done, Todd.
You know what I liked? Hey, Bob, you know what I loved about it? Is the fact that if you made that a movie and you fictionalized it and sensationalized it, nobody would buy it.
Ooh. I mean,
because of all the double backing and people holding out for extended periods of time, and then all of a sudden getting consciousness. You're like, nah, no way. If you kept a secret for this long, you'd shut up for forever. I think.
Well, yeah, there was definitely no shutting up for forever from any of the people in this documentary. They all eventually spilled the beans.
But it was I think, like I said, it's truth can sometimes be stranger than fiction, and I think that's what drew me to it and why I assigned it to you.
It was really interesting, and as someone from Michigan, I mean, Erie, Pennsylvania ain't that far away. So back in 2003, like I really was.
We saw this
story.
Yeah, we all saw this on the news,
except for me, I guess. This was like a new story for me. So
really,
Never heard about this prior to.
I think I heard that there was a guy and I think I heard what happened after he was apprehended / not.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I wasn't trying to make a big.
No, but you know,
but Bob says it right. Says it right there. Yeah, we saw the front end of it. And then it fell from the public eye.
Outside of Erie, I think for me it certainly did, but maybe I just wasn't keeping up with the story. But
no, I think that's what was intriguing to me as well. I saw the beginning of it because it was national news, but you never saw it play out. And actually, quite honestly, I'd seen a middle portion because it was a Dateline thing on just a portion of it, but it wasn't solved.
Yeah, and they would bust in every now and again with clips from Dateline discussing the story and the updates that they had received as kind of time wore on. And I'm like, well, I guess I wasn't a faithful Dateline viewer because I just missed those stories at all. So it was really cool. It was a great assignment for me because I really wasn't uber familiar with the story.
So I'll take a B+ every day.
Yeah, if you also aren't familiar with it, definitely check it out. Evil Genius on Netflix.
Sweet.
Cory Selesky.
Yes.
You had the Grand Tour from Nick.
Was the Grand Tour or Top Gear?
Well, I have the Grand Tour, and since I just listened to the episode, I can tell you it's the Grand
Tour.
Yeah. Didn't watch the Grand Tour?
Oops.
I watched Top Gear.
Oopsie poopsie. I watched what I want.
Gear,
I mean,
so
I've done that.
How different are they?
Wait, no.
Whoa. Order on this podcast. I will have the last say since I assigned the movie. So I will say this. I have not seen Top Gear, but the Grand Tour and Top Gear were made and starred the same people. So let's hear Top Gear since you failed to do your homework.
Depending on which Top Gear, because there's an American one
and there's a British one.
And then the new British one.
I watched the new British one.
Okay, so I'm interested. I guess I've never seen it, but you know, I follow the rules. So let me just hear what you thought about Top Gear.
He's like,
no, because now I'm questioning myself if I did watch the right thing or not.
No, you didn't.
not if you watch Top Gear.
It's okay. You
not.
can just watch 2 things this week. It's no big deal.
Exactly. You didn't watch the right thing.
That.
All right, so Cory can't give a review
Hold
because
on.
No,
he needs to watch.
Whoa. Todd Dillon, you've had the most
Yes,
recent
sir.
experience as someone who's on the podcast who was assigned one thing and watched something completely different. What did you do in response? When you found out you watched the wrong thing, what did you do?
I think I still gave a partial review of what I watched and then watched the right thing.
Yeah, I think he's.
All right.
I think he said my bad. I can give the review if you want, but I'm still going to watch this. And everyone was like, no. That wasn't what you're supposed to watch. You're not going to give a review.
So let's let that be the precedent and continue in that way.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, it's pointless to give a review,
Well,
but you could assign it.
I'm sure he watched. Yeah, I'm sure he spent an hour or two watching Top Gear.
Yeah. So okay,
I'm
but
sure
hang
he'd like
on.
to give the review.
So because it is the same guys from.
Yeah, it's the same guys, but you weren't assigned that.
I get that, but
So
Depending
why
on
give
which-
a review? That doesn't make any sense.
Because that's what Todd did. Because if I spent 2 hours watching something and I found out I watched the wrong thing, I'd at least like to go, well, hopefully that.
I mean,
if I don't give you a
tell-
review,
tell us
then
how you
I
like it.
wasted my time.
from what I can tell, they're both basically the same show.
But you haven't seen the other one, so you don't.
Why don't
Oh.
we
Yeah, you
let
haven't
him
seen the
give
other
a
one.
review
Yeah.
of what he saw? Doesn't have to be long. Just what did you think? What did you see?
I mean, so Top Gear, it's a show of reviewing cars and like the top-notch cars and vehicles out there. Very, very overproduced. Like they have CGI for this show that is beyond belief.
Okay.
They should be in movies, not a TV show.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool, but at a certain sense, I'm like, it's a TV show. You guys are putting this much into it.
Did you have to put the subtitles on because they're British?
No, I could fully understand what they were saying.
Do you have to put butter on a steak? No, but is it good? Yes. This makes no sense to me.
Sorry, Todd. I took it off, but it was based around cars and like what's the best car out there, and they have segments, just like we do. They would open the show with
Booze News.
Close. No, the guy was called the
names of the guys.
No, it was a segment they had, and it was this unknown driver driving around in a very fast, amazing car, and they would clock all these different cars that came in at what times, and they had a leaderboard up.
The Stig.
Yes.
I already get the sense he'd like Grand Tour better.
Really?
Well, we're gonna find out because.
So, but at the end of the day, better background noise than actually, unless you're a huge car person, then I could see where it would be an effective show for you. But
right.
For me, it was like, okay, after one episode, I'm like, I can leave this on in the background and hear it, but I'm not going to sit and like fully watch it.
There's 3 versions of Top Gear, and then the Grand Tour, because you have the original
British
Top Gear, which has the same guys that are there. Then they have the American version. They have a new one that has, what's his name from Friends? Joey from Friends. And
Isn't that also the American version?
That's the British version.
I may have watched. I know I did not watch the American, and I know I didn't watch the new.
The American one was garbage.
If I would have watched any Top Gear, it probably would have been the older British one. I think that's what Mike showed me a couple episodes of, but I know
probably
they're synonymous, But
that doesn't matter, right? Because you assigned him the Grand Tour.
No, and that's fine.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
and next week we might hear about Fantasy Island if he thinks that's what he has to watch. So
I think we're definitely saying Cory gave his review of Top Gear,
but we'll let him review it next week if he watches the wrong thing. So
he's gonna watch the Grand Tour.
I will watch the Grand Tour.
I think he'll like
whatever else.
I think he'll like it better.
Oh, I already know he's gonna hate it. He's just
I think he'll
based
like
on
it.
the fact that he's going to have to do this again.
Look, I heard your review for Moneyball. I took a shot. Give him a chance.
I think he'll like it.
That doesn't make any sense.
I believe Cory's
You took a shot at something you liked and you gave to me, and I watched it.
Yeah, but Grand Tour's not about racing.
You actually watched it, so
this
let's
was not
assume
something he was supposed to watch.
And you actually watched it, so let's assume that Cory's actually going to watch the Grand Tour.
Grand Tour is funnier than Top Gear.
Let's let him.
I definitely will.
I also don't remember. I remember someone else watching the wrong thing, and I don't remember hearing a review on it.
It was me.
Well,
it's happened a couple times.
A few times, yeah. I just happened to single Todd because he's the one I remembered.
Okay, moving on.
I guess we're moving on then.
17.
All right, so new assignments for next week.
Yes, sir.
I have drawn Cory. Todd, you have me.
I just had you.
Dude, I'm just doing the randomized Excel. Just
Todd,
take your pick and move on.
The numbers are crunched, buddy.
What's
done is done.
Cory, you have Greg. Greg has Nick, and Nick has Todd.
I saw it.
All right. Is anybody ready to go first?
Yeah, I might as well because he probably saw it. So I'm going to have to think of another one. Todd, have you seen Murder Among the Mormons? Todd, are you there?
I'm here. I'm listening. I saw the thing with the Mormon dude who got blown up, who blew himself up or whatever. But no, I don't think I have.
No,
I'll watch it.
I don't think that has anything to do with this.
So
but
you've watched
okay, no. If there's no explosions, then I likely haven't seen it. Mormons like to blow things up.
Murder Among the Mormons.
Right, well,
it's on Netflix.
Todd, in the next couple of days, take a look at it and make sure if you have seen it, then shoot Nick a text and let him know.
I will.
To assign you something else.
I will. Yep.
Okay. Cory, I've got you. I'm going to try to, since you've got another thing to watch, I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible for you then. Cory, you have, it's a movie called In a World.
Okay.
I'm going to assume you haven't seen it.
No, I have not.
Cory, Nolan.
In a World. That's exactly what it is. So
In a World. All right.
I'm pretty sure it's either Hulu or Netflix. Okay. Todd, you got me.
I do. I have a question. Remind me again. Can you, if I assign a sitcom, can I assign specific episodes, or do you get to? How does that work?
If you really, really want to assign specific episodes, you can do that. You don't have to.
Bob just did it with Seinfeld with Cory.
I did.
All right. Well, here's the reason I ask is, let's say, remember I asked Cory last week if he'd seen Blackish, and he said he had. But I'm like, did you see this? You might not have seen this episode, especially if you didn't like it.
Yeah, I think the ruling was if he had. Well, I guess I don't know if we've really covered that kind
No,
of.
we have. So
what's the ruling?
So the ruling was you can be assigned something only twice, regardless of if it was specific episodes or not. You can't assign the same thing. But if you're going to assign a sitcom, let's say, and you assigned A, B, C, and D episodes, and you want to assign F, Z, X, and Y, that's fine. But after that second pool, if the person still does not like it, then you can no longer assign anything from that.
Hold on, but as an addendum to that, I thought we decided that, like, if Todd assigns me specific episodes for Blackish, let's say, after that he can't assign Blackish anymore to me, but someone else can. But that's the
Correct.
last time.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
So as the same person, if you assign Cory Blackish, he didn't like it, you can't say, well, I want to assign you different episodes of Blackish.
Right.
Someone else can.
Yeah.
But again, only with the 2-tier rule.
Right.
Got it.
If that's
Okay.
at the time, Blackish is off the table. So what do you got for me, Todd?
So I'd like to reserve the right to pick the second one, but I definitely want you to see Blackish Advance to Go collect $200.
That's the name of the episode?
That is the name of the episode.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to write down Blackish here. You text me the specific episodes you want. And I think they're 30-minute episodes, I assume, right?
Yes. Yep.
So you could send me up to 4 of them.
Yep.
And just let me know which ones.
Speaking
Will
of
do.
collect $200, Greg and his family play Monopoly with real money.
I love it.
Supposed to tell people that.
I love it. I bet it gets real interesting when I bet it gets real interesting when Granny lands on frickin' Boardwalk with a hotel. I'm on a fixed income.
I lost $25 to my great grandmother playing penny poker. So
All right.
That's awesome.
Greg, you got Nick.
I do. Have you seen McClintock?
I don't know.
Oh, yes, he has.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
June of
Yes. It sounded
last year.
so familiar. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
He has.
Well, I know I gave you True Grit. Did I
Yes.
give you Rooster Cogburn after?
Bob
or
did.
did
No, he
somebody
did
Todd
not.
did?
No.
No, Bob.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, because he was going to assign you Rooster Cogburn. I talked him into doing True Grit.
And
Yes.
was Rooster Cogburn a character in True Grit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's another
So, okay,
movie.
got you.
Right.
Got you.
I said,
follow-up
why
to
do
that.
that?
Yes.
Do the?
Because I'm like, I know that fucking name. Don't tell me,
That's
because
why-
I know that fucking name.
That is why you know that name.
All right. We'll go with that then.
Oh, good pick.
Perfect.
Okay. So that leaves.
I have Greg.
Yeah.
You have $1 Billion Wreck on the History Channel.
I'm Jack Perkins.
I love when Cory signs shit. I don't even bother to wait for the answer. I just start typing because I'm like, there's no fucking way he's seen this.
After our conversation a couple of days ago, I was like, yeah, he might have, but
Yeah, but you've
I know-
generally, like, oh, you got to watch this on the Oxygen Network. Like, no one's ever seen whatever it is that you're going to assign.
You got to watch this on the Oprah show.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's
The
on
O-
there. It's
the
from
O Network.
2016.
no, it's you just download the History app,
Yeah.
and then connect a server.
Have you seen he steals? Have you seen he steals my money on Lifetime? It's fantastic.
It's a good documentary.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's Gentleman's Agreement for the week. I think, Cory, about 20 minutes until we're to the end.
I got an article real quick.
Okay, go right ahead.
So it's not necessarily a booze news, but it kind of hit close to home literally. Something that popped up today that I happened to see from Press and Guide. So it says on January 2nd, 2000, a woman's partially clothed body was pulled from the Rouge River in Dearborn Heights. That ended up being the final case that caused John Eric Armstrong's killing spree to finally end, a serial killer. Armstrong was living in Dearborn Heights at the time of his arrest, a few months after the body was found. At the time of his arrest, he was 26 years old and had a young child and another on the way. Armstrong's spree had stretched over several years across the globe as he used to as he used his position as a sailor in the Navy to kill between 5 to 18 women that are completely unaccounted for. He says the true total was never conclusive as investigators couldn't confirm all the deaths. Now, 22 years later, Armstrong is the last serial killer in the Metro Detroit region to be convicted. He's being featured in a series called Twisted Killers, which airs on the Oxygen Network, Bob.
Yes.
At 9 p.m. on Thursdays.
Score.
The intent was to either harm her or kill her or dispose of her body, Don Riley, a retired Dearborn Heights police officer, detective sergeant, said on the show. At the scene, the victim's hands were wrapped in plastic to preserve possible DNA evidence, and police spoke with the man who reported the body. He claimed that he stumbled upon the body when he fell a little bit ill while driving and stopped his car to vomit, as we do. Armstrong was actually the man who notified police. So the actual serial killer was the guy who called the police and said that he was sick and went off to the side of the road to throw up and notice his body. The story was plausible, although the witnesses say that he was a bit squirrely, said Elizabeth Walker, retired Wayne County assistant prosecutor. After being interviewed by police, he was released. On January 3rd, 2000, an autopsy showed that the victim had been strangled. A rape kit was performed. Fingerprints revealed the identity of Wendy Jordan, 39, who had been arrested previously for solicitation of prostitution in Detroit. Leads dried up, and investigators hoped rape kit's results would push the case forward in 2000, which took several months, said Riley. On April 10th, 2000, members of the Violent Crimes Task Force in Detroit received word of a homicide near a railroad track. In all, they found 3 bodies near the railroad tracks, and all 3 had prior arrests for prostitution, like the victim found in Dearborn Heights. Armstrong killings took place from 1992 to 1999. It says the search for the murderer intensified, and the sex crimes unit and the homicide unit joined the case. Our concern was serial killers, obviously, said Gary Cliff, former commanding officer of Detroit Police Department. They tend to escalate, so we need to get this guy off the streets. This guy's a killing machine. Detectives thought that they had caught a break when they found a coat near one of the victims' bodies with prescription pills in the pocket with a name. The name matched the man with a violent criminal past and arrest record. The promising lead turned into a dead end, and the individual passed a polygraph test and was cleared as a suspect. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit built a profile of the suspect, a white male who was between 25 and 35 years of age, who was, quote-unquote, getting sexual gratification from strangulation. Don Johnson, a former inspector for the Detroit Police Department, told prosecutors on the show. The strangulation was a part of the killer's sexual dysfunction, according to Tracy Benjamin, a retired LAPD investigator. There's some guilt, she said. There's some shame that's associated with this sexual act. Women who encountered the killer and survived turned out to be invaluable witnesses, including a 22-year-old woman that had been taken to the railroad tracks, seemingly to be killed. She ended up escaping and told police that the white male with red hair who drove a Jeep wore an Eric name tag on his shirt. Another victim, Wilhelmina Drain, corroborated those descriptions. A week before the bodies were found, she'd accepted a ride from a man who took her to the railroad tracks and attacked her. She fought back and escaped. She observed that he had a tattoo of a tiger on his arm. March 2001, Armstrong's trial for murder. Wendy Jordan began. The jury returned with a guilty verdict. He was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole. The trial of the murder of Kelly Hood resulted in another life sentence. Armstrong pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the killings and received an additional 31 years in prison. Today, Armstrong, 49, continues to serve 5 consecutive life sentences, first and second-degree murder, at the Cotton Correctional Facility near Jackson. Oxygen's True Crime, Joe Demazanowicz, contributed to this report. So apparently it's a documentary coming out soon. I had no clue that there was a serial killer in Dearborn Heights.
Right in our backyard.
Isn't that crazy?
Every city's got one.
No, it's in my backyard.
I'm over here often enough. Might as well be my fucking backyard.
Well,
Pet buddy.
thank God Bob stopped prostituting years ago.
Hell, you know,
Or so we think.
as far as you know.
But I thought that was interesting. I was blown away. I thought it was like one of those scam ads where it like plugs in like your age and stuff, and it's like, oh, 39-year-olds should be doing this if they want to have money by the time they're retired. And it like shows up on Facebook. So it's like Dearborn Heights cereal. I'm like, okay, this is just clickbait. But no, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
But you clicked on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Well played.
And it was real.
All right, let's jump into pick of the week, guys. We'll save the game for next week.
Sounds good.
All right, so for pick of the week this week, I'll kick it off if you guys want. I'm going to go with a record I got for Christmas, the Buzzcocks album called Singles Going Steady. The Buzzcocks are a UK band. This record was released in 1979, so it's a bit of an older album, but this has been hailed, I guess, as the greatest album they never made because it's their 8 singles that they released in the UK, and that's on LP number 1, and LP number 2 is all the B-sides for those singles. I had never heard, I don't know any Buzzcocks. I knew who they were. I knew they were a band.
Thank God I did not take a sip of my drink right there.
I looked directly at Cory. He had to stop drinking.
But this band is, I'd heard some of their songs. I just didn't know it was them. And I got to tell you, this album, definitely check it out. Check it out on Spotify. If you got a subscription, you can find it there. Check it out on Apple Music. If you got a subscription there, you can find it there. Great shit. And I only found out after I listened to it that it was a big influence on Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, and a lot of other grunge or punk bands that came after them. So I was super excited after I heard it, and especially like the last track, the last B-side on the last album was a song that I couldn't get out of my head for probably the next week. So definitely check them out.
Sweet.
Todd, you got something for us?
Absolutely, I do. I have to pitch this specific thing. My pick of the week is Chef Zachary's Gourmet Spices. Please go to his website.
I love it.
Todd, clarifying question.
Yes.
So you have a chicken coop out in the backyard.
Yeah.
And you obviously have a lot of other room and spaces around your house.
Yeah.
How many of those spaces are dedicated specifically to spices now?
Or chickens.
Well, eventually,
Well, I have 3 dedicated spaces to spices.
and I can only assume at some point there will be a spice rack in the chicken coop.
To
Reminding
flavor
the
them
chickens?
before they,
Yeah.
Reminding the chickens that they'll be cooked soon.
No, they're not going to be cooked.
No.
Todd loves
Well,
his
no.
chickens. So,
And
but-
chickens actually love spices. They love oregano and thyme and sage,
Thank you, Todd.
fennel.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
But yeah, I don't.
They could use their own
My
spice
current
rack.
location's house have enough room for the chicken's seasoning blend as well. But you have to hear me out on this. Chef Zachary has been making seasonings for a while, and I've been buying them probably for 20 years. And recently, though, I thought that they went out of business. They have a blackened spice that I've been using for a while, and I make some really killer dishes with this blackening spice that Chef Zachary has created. And the other cool thing is there's no salt in it, so you can actually really make it your own. But it's an incredible blend. And recently, for the last year, I thought they were out of business. And so I had been kind of hoarding my last container of blackening spice. And I had told Mary recently that we
Don't
had like
fucking
one.
touch that, Mary.
No, Mary doesn't cook, but I told her, I go, we have like one more swordfish steak and one more ahi tuna cook, and we're going to be out. And I will likely never cook those 2 things again because that seasoning is such a great
That's powerful.
a thing, and I hadn't been able to replicate it. But my sister came here for the holidays, and she actually, and I told her, I go, I was so desperate, I actually called him because I found one of the websites before it went offline, and I called, and it rang and rang and rang. And by the way, he's a Detroit guy, and I called, it rang and rang and rang. I was never able to get a hold of him. I'm like, he went out of business. This number's going to be defunct soon. My sister actually wasn't able to order the spices, but she did the same thing I did. She called him, told him the story, and the guy sent her 4 packages of his blackened spice, which has changed names, and also his Chelsea seasoning, which I still have and use. It is amazing. Great spice blend. I know that I've taken a lot of time to talk about spices.
Salt over
but
the
please,
podcast? Yeah.
It's not salt.
No, this
it's
doesn't have
not
salt.
salt.
No, you
It
did
doesn't have
mention
salt.
salt. You mentioned that there was no salt, which gave you the opportunity to salt the fuck out of it. That's the third time this episode you mentioned salt. I just like to point that out for the listeners.
I like salt.
Might not be as astute as the rest of us here.
Exactly. But anyway, that's my pick of the week. Please, 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 if you like good spice and seasoning that isn't too hot but is just right for many, many dishes, and if you want ideas, I would highly recommend this. You can always count on me to hook you up with ideas and inspirations. Actually worked out really cool is since my sister got it for me, I was able to cook for her while her and her family were in town. And they both said that the salmon that I prepared and the swordfish that I prepared was the best seafood they'd ever had in their lives. And I was still using a little bit of my rationed blackened seasoning. So Chef Zachary's, please go there. Please keep them in business. Detroit, all good stuff.
Nice.
All right, I got to jump in here real quick before we pass it on. I realized I forgot to mention that it was Lori that gave me that Buzzcocks album. I'd probably going to catch a lot of shit if I didn't point that out. So,
Go, Lori!
Greg, what do you got for us?
I have the Streamlight 66608 250 lumen flashlight, little pocket flashlight.
Streamlight Light or Lite, like the kids say?
Light.
Okay,
Yes.
old school.
So-
How bright is it?
250 lumens.
Hey, shine that into the camera so I can see.
Fuck.
Oh, goodness. Oh, you put my eye out.
250 lumens is not that
Do
big.
it again.
It's not, but
It
it's
is when
it's a
you're staring
small.
directly at it.
It's
Do
a
it again.
small pocket
No,
size.
don't do it again. Shut the fuck up, Todd.
One more time. I love that
Give your
thing.
pick.
For around $25 to $35, you can usually catch them on sale on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice pocket rechargeable flashlight.
Is it?
Oh, it's
Is it,
rechargeable.
Greg?
Yes,
That's
rechargeable
huge.
USB.
That's
Yes,
huge.
Yes, it is a rechargeable
Yeah, 'cause-
flashlight.
They make two versions of it.
Yes, they have the battery one, which is like 100 lumens, and then this one is 250.
Nice.
It's a very nice little flashlight. Highly recommend it.
Not a fan.
No,
Gonna say.
just look right here.
Come on, man.
If you
Do
shine
it.
it just right, you'll see the silver of his eyes.
Do
I've
it.
already got these fucking lights in my eyes. I don't need that.
His cataracts will just bounce with that light.
Todd's
right?
Venmoing me money to do it again right now.
Yeah, I know he is. Go fuck yourself, Todd.
So my pick of the week this week, I got a bunch of stuff for the basement. One of the things I got, it's always a little chilly down here, and I don't want to, like I was telling the guys, I don't want to jack the heat up throughout the house if I just have to heat the basement.
It's just gonna jack something else.
I'm just
Like,
gonna
come on.
Ew.
jack Bob off. That's all. But
It's like it's gonna be a happy ending on this podcast.
But what I've been doing in the past is I have a like a break in my laundry line where it's a heat saver on the dryer where you can open it up, and instead of all that heat going outside, you can push the heat back into your basement, which is also super cool. But a lot of times,
Or super hot.
yeah, that's funny.
Played, sir.
What I found is that I don't need to be running the motor for the dryer and tossing around clothes or nothing for no
He
reason.
said tossing.
So, there's got to be another way, and there is. So I purchased a Amazon Basics infrared style heater, but it's built into a cabinet, so it's kind of like an end table. You can put stuff on top of it; doesn't get hot. Super awesome. Got obviously good reviews. Cory loves it when we talk about
Yeah,
reviews.
I always look at the reviews.
Comes with a remote. Right around $100. All cherry wood grain, or you can get it in gray. So Amazon Basics. It's the Amazon Basics cabinet style infrared space heater.
All right. Cory, what do you
Nice.
My pick for this week is going to be, as you guys know, I've always been a fan of GoPro. And I just today upgraded my GoPro with all the accessories.
For the wedding, of course.
Well, naturally.
That's how I played it off. But yeah, I will be using it at the wedding. But dude, this.
By the way, that's the only thing he knows about the wedding right now is what camera he's going to be using.
And what color he's wearing.
Yeah, that's true. What color the ties are?
Wisteria.
Hysteria.
But dude, the new mods and everything they've made for the GoPro, it's phenomenal. I was able to hook it up to the mixer today while we've been doing the podcast. So I just kind of messing around with some other.
You guys look marvelous.
For
by the way,
yeah. Well, so but it can be used as a secondary camera shot now. Audio's mixing to it with the new mod that they have for it. We were never able to do that before with the audio. It was just crappy audio on the GoPro. There's a light attachment. There's a built-in microphone that's 1,000 times better now than the old ones. So that's my pick. If you've been thinking about
1,000
upgrading your
times,
GoPro,
Cory?
yes, 1,000 times, Todd.
1,000.
Corey doesn't exaggerate. I mean, he's done the math.
Three orders of magnitude. 3 orders of magnitude.
Yes,
He's done the work.
So
He's thorough, if nothing else.
if you've been thinking about upgrading the GoPro, definitely do it. Or if you're looking you're in the market, GoPro Hero 9, get all the accessories for it. You'll be more than happy.
Now, does it come with the dildo handle, or do you just use it as that?
No, that's just from the bedroom.
That's from the bedroom. So
Yeah.
that's not even a GoPro handle.
Do they make one
No.
that's 10,000 times better?
Nope, they're only at I think 2,000 right now. I went for the 1,000 mark.
I think it's upside down.
They also make one that's 1,000 times worse. And that's for sale on Facebook Marketplace from Corey if you want to look it up. Pretty cheap.
Great deal. It's a bundle.
Entry level GoPro.
Do you have the old one on there?
And that's the podcast for this week. Please join us here next week for another episode of Schnozzcast. On behalf of Nick, Corey, Todd, and Greg, we'll see you next week.